Hi, I'm Ken Hill. This is a video about using the Word in a congregation setting to project onto a screen or a large TV. A couple of people have asked me for suggestions on how to do this, and this is how I do it. Your needs might be a little different. Now here we're looking at the Word in a layout that I typically use, but for presenting on a big screen, this would be way too small and kind of cluttered. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into View, which is up here on the menu bar, Layout. Now you can see I use layouts a lot. Go to Predefined Layouts, and I'm going to choose number 1 to start with. I usually get rid of this Bible tree, and I usually get rid of the bookmarks, and I'll drag this up here. Now this gives us a starting point. First thing I do is go to the Bible translation that I'm interested in using. In this case I'm going to choose the English Standard Version. And of course the text is too small here to present on a large screen, but I want to clean up some other things first. I don't usually use these links at the top and the bottom, so I'm going to go down here and turn those off, the header and footer for viewer. I also do not want to have footnotes, nor do I want to have morphological codes displayed. So let's increase the font size. I usually go here to Genesis chapter 1 verse 1 to kind of get a guideline. If you hold down your control, I'm on a Windows machine. If you hold down your control key, and while you're holding it down, press the number pad plus key, so control plus, and just keep pressing it, and you can keep holding it down if you want, till it gets to be about the right size you think it's going to be. Now this is going to take some adjustment when you get, this is on my laptop, when I get to my to the auditorium where I'm going to present. It's going to maybe require bigger fonts, or maybe smaller. Okay, the next thing I do is turn off this, which is Control T, as in Tom. And also I'm going to drag this down here so it's close at hand. Then I'm going to zoom in on this section here. So one of these options here is to show and hide the caption. The caption is this part here, and it doesn't take up a lot of room, but it does take up some, and sometimes it can be a little confusing to an audience. Now one factor to consider is that this drop down arrow has some control. If you hide this, you will lose that drop down arrow, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. So watch what happens when I click this. This line here will disappear. Like I say, it gives you a little bit extra screen real estate, and it avoids one possible area where it can be confusing to a congregation. The next thing I usually do is, I don't like this gray that shows the current verse. I find that's a little bit hard to really see in a congregation. So I'm going to press Control O, that's the letter O, which brings up this Bible View options. And here's the current verse highlighting color. I'm going to click on that, and I usually like to have kind of a brightish yellow. Now I'm also going to change, to me these verse numbers are a little bit too prominent. I like to focus on the text rather than numbers. So I'm going to click here and go down to a kind of a light gray, and then press OK. So now the current verse is highlighted in yellow, and the verse numbers are in a light gray. Now I don't want to go through these steps every time I want to use this in a presentation kind of situation, so I'm going to save this as a layout. by going to View, Layout. Clear at the bottom is Save Current Layout. So I'm going to go up here to the top, and I think that's because of the presentation or the movie video software I'm using that it blanked out like that. But so I'm going to call this projector. So just to show you how to switch back and forth, I'm going to go to View, Layout. I'll go to Commentary. This is one I use a lot. Now back to View, Layout, down to Presentation, and I can just press P, letter P, several times to get to Projector, and it comes up as just like we left it. It comes up at the same place where we left it, Genesis 1 verse 3 in the ESV. Now, just to finish off, there are a few tips that I would like to suggest to you. Remember that Control and the plus key on the number pad or the minus key will control how big the text is going to be. So I'm increasing it. And you might have to make adjustments on the fly when you're in your auditorium or chapel, just to see what looks good, and maybe have somebody stand at the back row and let you know how it looks from there. Another tip is that you can, if you need to go to a different verse, you can do that with the keyboard. If it's in the same chapter, you can just type the numbers of the verse. Like right now we're in Genesis chapter 1 verse 3. If I press, now I'm pressing the numbers on the upper row on the keyboard, not the function keys but the one below that. So if I press 2, 2 fairly close together, it'll take me right down here to verse 22. And if I want to go back to 3, I just press the number 3 and I'm back there. You can press the arrow keys and move verse by verse. Sometimes that's appropriate. The other thing in navigation is this verse navigator up here. You can access that with F4. So let's say I wanted to go to 1 Peter 3:1, or let's say John, JN, we'll bring up John 3:16. And then just press the enter key. And just like in a browser, if I want to go back to the previous verse I was on, I press Alt and left arrow. Now I'm back to where I was, Genesis 3:7. And let's say I want to move this up so people could see it. It's sometimes a little easier to see things at the top of the screen than near the bottom. I'm pressing Control down arrow and I'm just keeping that. Now it moves kind of sluggish the bigger the font you're using, or the bigger the zoomed in you are. So that may not be an option. And also it is only an option in certain versions of the Word. I'm using one right now that's a preview version or a beta version, and I think right now, as of today, which is the May the 30th of 2017, the stable version does not have this feature of being able to move that and stay on the same verse. I mean, you can press the arrow keys, but you're moving to a different verse. And one final tip, you can either use this display, you can just drag it to your second monitor or the projector, and you'll have the Bible on that screen where the congregation can see it. Now, depending on how you have your Windows display set up, you can, let me see if I can get down to this, right click here and go to display settings, and you've got the choice of either when you're using multiple displays, you can either extend the displays. That means what I see on this screen is different from what I have on the congregation screen, or you can duplicate the displays. You have to say keep it or change it. If you use multiple displays, then what you see on this screen is the same as what you see on I don't know what that bounding box is for. The same as what you see on the laptop screen is what you see on the congregation screen. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.